Hi, today I'll be discussing inflation, what it is, how it is measured, and what inflation in Canada looks like right now. Inflation is the overall rise in the prices of goods and services. A good way of understanding inflation is by looking at the change in the prices of everyday goods, such as bread. The graph shows the prices of bread from early 2021 to mid 2022. Just by looking at this, we can see that the price dips, then quickly goes up. This increase in price is inflation, as the price of the good is inflating. One of the most commonly used ways of indicating inflation is the Consumer Price Index, otherwise known as CPI. CPI measures the overall cost of goods and services that are purchased by the typical consumer. The way this index works is by measuring the cost of a basket of goods, which represents items that a typical person would purchase, such as food. Here we can see the comparison between, say, last year's basket of goods and this year's. There is a rise, which shows a bit of inflation, and a price change, which is. There are 5 steps to calculating CPI, which includes first surveying consumers to determine the basket of goods, so seeing what is typically bought. The second is to find the price of each good in each year. Third, calculate the cost of the basket of goods. Fourth is to pick up a base year and calculate CPI. Fifth is to use CPI to calculate the inflation rate. Here is an example of CPI and inflation calculations using a table that shows the price of bread and the price of milk. We also see the quantities that are typically bought. First, you would need to calculate how much a basket costs, which is getting the price of good 1 times the quantity typically bought for that, plus the price of good 2 times that quantity. Here I have a calculation of 2022, which showed that the cost was 40.8. Then we use that to find CPI, which is the cost of a basket for the current year divided by the cost of the basket for the base year, times 100. Here I chose my base year as 2022, and that led me to a CPI of 100. Inflation rate, you compare CPIs, so the CPI of, say, year 2, so 2023 in this case, minus 2022, so year 1, divided by year 1 times 100. And here I calculated 2023 on the side for the CPI, but that led to a 3.68% increase in inflation between those 2 years. When looking at inflation in Canada, I used an article by Reuters which addressed the inflation in Canada. They stated that the key factors playing a part in the increase of inflation included food prices, the supply chain, and global costs. With that being said, this is my works cited. Thank you.